Shalom. Before I begin, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wachakodash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles, and the elders, the great millstone that root well and teach well. And also Shalom and salutations to the brothers laboring in this work as well. So this lesson that I'm going to be getting into today, it's going to be going into how, the Bible is not what the Christian church presented it to be. You know, the way the Christian church interpreted the scriptures, the way they represented it was false, man. Because how did they present it? They presented it as it being a kumbaya, just love oriented, just geared towards one emotion. You see, prosperity. They basically misinterpreted it, man. As scriptures speak about that, man, how the scriptures are not of any private interpretation, because the Christian church, people like Geno Jennings, they interpret the scriptures in a private interpretation, for a private gain. What suits them and what can keep them up, because they ultimately are doing it for money, man. Preaching prosperity and telling you everything's good, but that's contrary to the scriptures. Well, really, the scriptures they do touch on that prosperity and that love aspect, but that's only for the nation of Israel. But that's not only what the scriptures deals with, man. There's another side to it. You see? As a matter of fact, let me start here in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 2. In verse 9, it says, "And when I looked, behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without, and there was written therein lamentations and mourning and woe." You see, so this book of a roll is concerning it's symbolic to the Bible, man. To the scriptures. You see, and it being spread, and what was written within and without it was lamentations, mourning, and woe. So meaning what would be contained in the Bible or in the scriptures is predominantly lamentations, mourning, and woe. So nothing but bad news. You see, and that's the job of a prophet, which, these so-called pastors, they claim to be prophets, right? Or messengers of the Most High. But they're not doing the job of a prophet, man. Because what is the job of a prophet? The job of a prophet is to prophesy. When you break down that word prophesy, it literally means to say something before it happens. And what is that message? You see? What is the message that a prophet would have? Matter of fact, let's get this in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 28, and verse 8. It says, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence," man. You see, so the prophets that have been, for example, Noah. You see, what was Noah prophesying about? Was Noah prophesying about anything good? Or that everything was okay? No. But Noah was prophesying of destruction. You see? And that's the case with every other prophet. You see? And there's prophets that have been resurrected and brought back into their lot, doing the exact same thing, but in a different lifetime, man. You see that? They'll prophesy against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence, man. So you see, that goes to prove that the Christians don't got it. The modern day Christians, they don't got it, man. You see, because this is not the message they uphold. They don't talk about lamentations, mourning, and woe. They don't talk about, the dangers that are ahead, man. which if you hold that message, that would make you a, a true prophet. Matter of fact, let's get this in the book of Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10. It says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy." So the testimony of our Lord Yahushua would be the spirit of prophecy. So that spirit of prophecy is you know, the true message that the true prophet of Yahweh Bashimashah would have to say something before it happens, which the Christian church doesn't do. All right. And what are some things that are going to happen, that are coming to pass, which the Bible speaks of, the scriptures speak about. As I mentioned, lamentations, mourning, and woe. So nothing but bad news when the prophets are on the scene. You see? So let's go from there to the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16, and I'm gonna start at verse 16. But this will be in the GNT. It says, "The disasters are on their way toward the earth, and like an arrow shot by a strong archer, they cannot be turned back." And these disasters, is what's ahead, what's coming, man. The future, for the future of this place, for the whole world. You know, it says, verse 17, "I am doomed. I'm doomed. Who will rescue me in those days? Its troubles will come, and many people will groan. Famine will come, and many will die. Wars will come, and the world powers will tremble. Disasters will come, and everyone will be terrified." What will people do when these disasters come? You see that? So famine is on the way, because in America, predominantly America, it hasn't been hit by any major disasters like like famine or lights being out, not having electricity, not having your tap water not working for months. You know, a lot of Americans have not experienced that, those tribulations or those disasters, man. But guess what? The Lord is gonna bring this upon them, you know, and not only them, but upon the whole world, man. You see, verse 19, it says, "Famine, epidemics, troubles, and sufferings are sent to punish and correct people." So there's a reason for these plagues, for these famines, these epidemics and troubles and sufferings, to be sent. It's because of wickedness, as it says in 2nd Ezra 16. Verse 20 says, "But in spite of all this, they will not turn away from their sins. They soon forget their punishment," man. And we see an example of that with the C-19, how that the world was put on pause and everybody was shook up. But once it started to ease down, what happened? They forgot there was even a lockdown. They forgot that the world was put on pause, man. Verse 21, it says, "The time is coming, but guess what? There's gonna be more lockdowns." You know, you see, verse 21, it says, "The time is coming when food will be so cheap that people would think a time of peace and plenty has arrived. But then disasters will spring up everywhere: wars, famine, and great confusion. Many people on earth will starve to death, and those who escape starvation will be killed in war." You see, so this is what's coming, man. You know, verse 23, the corpses will be thrown out like their corpses will be thrown out like garbage, and there will be no one left to comfort the living. The earth will be deserted and its cities demolished. So this is a somewhat of a dystopian illustration, man. You see, so the scriptures are, on point because a lot of these movies, a lot of these shows, they deal with predictive programming. How you have movies like I Am Legend, um, the Book of Eli, Walking Dead. These are all movies that will be under the catalog of predictive programming, man. And predictive programming is basically to say something before you know before it happens. So you will predict something that's going to happen through a program, huh? You see that? But little do the people know that what they actually watched on TV and these shows they enjoyed, you know, is actually going to become reality and something that they're going to be living in. You know, it says, and this is in the scriptures, man. The scriptures has given this illustration. And we know that the Bible is faithful and true. The words of our Lord Yahushua are faithful and true. All right. So it says, verse 23: their corpses will be thrown out like garbage, and there will be no one left to comfort the living. The earth will be deserted, and its cities demolished. There will be no one left to plow the land or plant it. Trees will. You see, there's gonna be so much death that the population is gonna reduce. There's gonna be few people left, man. As you see in these dystopian movies and shows. You know, it says trees will bear their fruit, but there will be no one left to pick it. Grapes will ripen, but there will be no one left to make wine. There will be desolation everywhere, and a person will long to see the face of another human being, or even to hear another person's voice, man. So that's how vastly the population is gonna reduce, man, to the point where you're gonna wanna see somebody. You're gonna hope, you run into somebody, a human being or whatever, man. You know, verse 28, and only 10 left out of a whole city, and in the countryside only two who have hidden in the forest or in caves. When an olive grove is harvested, there are 3 or 4 olives may be left on each tree. When grapes in a vineyard are picked, a few bunches may be left even by those who look carefully. That is how it will be in those days. There are 3 or 4. It says 3 or 4 will be missed by the soldiers who search through the houses to kill everyone. You see what I'm saying? So there's gonna be soldiers deployed, man. There's gonna be soldiers out in these streets as well. Just wreaking havoc. You see? Verse 32: the land will be left empty, the fields will be overgrown with berries. The roads and paths will be covered with weeds and thorns because there will be no sheep to graze along them. So as you see in these dystopian movies, man, how that when the city, hasn't been cultivated, hasn't been used as much, like the roads, how and cities also have a lot of construction that go on, just to refresh the concrete and stuff. But that's not going to be the case when these times come, because nobody's going to have time for that, man. Society's going to break down. So these trees, these roots are going to grow through this gravel, this pavement. You know, you have trees on, tree roots on buildings. Just grown through. This is the times we're coming to. Verse 33: young women will be in mourning because there is no one to marry them. Wives will be in mourning because they have lost their husbands. daughters will be in mourning because there is no one to help them. All the young men will be killed in the war. All the married men will die in famine, man. So this is what's coming. This is the true message of the scriptures, man. Also along with the deliverance of the nation of Israel. But in this time, the elect is going to be delivered and kept from these type of times, man. You know, that's the number we hope to be a part of that elect, because the elect will just go through this unscathed, so to speak, protected by the Lord, man. You see, so with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to say, Call Halayim La Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Chakudash. And once again, double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, that rule well and teach well, and Shalom. And salutations to the fellow brethren laboring in this work as well. Until next time, Shalom.